Hi,
Good morning, Mario.
morning to you. How are you?
Baruch Hashem, very good.
How's the weather? Is it hot?
Very hot, very hot. Hot and sticky and muggy.
Hmm. Well,
But you gotta still take the
summer.
kids out, so
It's summer.
it is. It is. With a vengeance.
Yeah. Johnny. Hola.
Hello.
Hey,
¿Cómo
Johnny.
estás?
What?
¿Cómo estás?
Okay. Baruch Hashem.
Good.
Very good. Here he is.
Hi, Yomi.
Good evening, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. We're on Samech Gimel 63. Tomorrow we'll learn regular time, 8 p.m.
Okay.
Pshita, Amar Yachloi Ploini B'nechosai. Somebody says or writes, I want to give half of my assets to Ploini. His kavana is palga. He wants to give half. But if he says a different phraseology, Tnu chelek leploini b'nechosai, give a part of my assets to Ploini. What does he mean? My. Amar Ravina Bar Kisi Toshma, the Tanya, ha'omer tnu chelek leploini bebor. I have a water cistern, and I say to somebody, give a certain part, give a chelek to Ploini. So sumchus omer ein pachos merevia. When you say chelek, it doesn't mean, it means no less than a fourth. That depends what you're talking about. If you're talking about a chavis, ein pachos mishminis. If there's water in a barrel and you say give a chelek, means you have to give at least an eighth. And if you say the same thing, if it l'kedera, it's in a pot, ein pachos mishnemasar, you have to give a 12th. And if you say you have a cup of water in front of you and you say give a chelek to somebody, l'tfiach, ein pachos meshisha, so you refer to 1/16. Torah Ben Levi shemachar sada Israel. A Levi sells a field to a Jew. He makes it tonight. Fine, I'll sell you my field. But in the future, all the harvests you do, you have to give a Levi Meiser Rishon. I'm selling you this field tonight that you give me the Meiser. You're allowed to do it. Meiser Rishon Shalom. The Tanai is fulfilled. The Imam li ulivni, if he says, I want the Meiser given to me and to my sons, so Mace, if the guy who sold it, the Levi dies, he take Levona. The Tanai has to be fulfilled and he has to give it to his sons. Im Armelo Kozman Shasada Zubiyadcha. if the Tanai was this, I'm selling you this field on condition that as long as the field is in your possession, you give me the meiser. So, machra, if the guy who bought it from the Levi sold it to another party and then buys it back, then it breaks the Tanai. The first seller, the Levi, cannot demand the schus for meiser rishon because it left for a period of time from the ownership of the person he sold it to that he made the Tanai to. Now, the Gemara questions this whole notion that this Tanai can work on future produce. You can't do a Maisa Kinyan on something that doesn't exist in the world. How can you be makne, promised to be given the Maisa Rishon and the Tvua that's hasn't grown yet? So Kivin to Amalei Amanash Maisa Rishon Shali, really what's going on is Shiuri Shireha, Mokama Maiser, the Levi is holding back from the sale some of the land that he's not really selling. And that Makom is here in the world. So he basically can retain those payrolls. Amreish Lakish Zoso Meres. Amoicha Baisa Chavero. Person sells a house. The Omerlo Amanas should Yuta El Yona Shali, but I want to keep the second story for me. You're allowed to hold back things when you sell. Yoitel Yona Shalo, he's allowed to maintain ownership of the upper store. Lamayil Chasa. I mean, it only sold the bottom. What's the nafkamin and alocha? Razvid Omar, she'imratza lahotzi bazizin. There's a chutzner attached to this house. And this second story, he wants to project from the second story some sticks or poles into the chutzner. The chutzner was sold to the buyer of the house. But since he retained ownership of the second story, Motzi is allowed to put out those sticks. Rav Papa Omar Sheim Rotza Livnos Ali Al Gaba. That means if the second story collapses, he can build it again. Boine. So the Bishmal Rav Zvid, who talks about the projections, Hana Diktani Zoisomeres. That's why it fits in what Reish Lakish did a tangent from the previous sugya regarding Meiser. So just like the Levi holds back ownership of the produce, that way it's not a problem with being makna davar shelo bala olam. Here's Sue, he's retaining some ownership, the place of where he's going to put out those poles. Ela Rav Papa, but Rav Papa, that he has the right to build the second story again. What's the Zoisomeres? It's not that he retained ownership. Kasha, it's a problem. Somebody sells a house. In the star, it says the depths, right, going down into the ground. I'm selling you the rights to the ground and the rights of the airspace. My time, if you don't detail what you're selling, that he doesn't sell over the depths in a regular sale. And he didn't buy the ability to, for example, the oil and the mineral rights below the house. But ani kavaruma lemikne kavaruma. If you write oimik varum in the star, then it allows you to some extent dig va'ani mitom aravarum rikia, and that which he says all the way to the depths into the sky is lemikne bor v'dusu machilos. That allows him to acquire springs and underground rivers. And lema messiah, we said that when you sell a regular house, you don't sell lo sabor velo sadus, not the bore, which is sidewalls or dirt to hold water. The dus is built with stones. Abel pisha cause of lo umkavaruma, even though you wrote umkavaruma, because we're going to see you have to say mitahom arav adrum rikia would allow you to buy that.
Are you on your way?
Umkavaruma alone would not work. The Isaac was kani umkavaruma that normally, even if you don't say anything, the depths are acquired. Lani umkavaruma lemikne borvidus mechilas. Then by adding the words umkavaruma, that certainly should allow you to acquire the borvidus. So no, shalokosavle, he didn't. The reason why you don't acquire through kinyan the borvidus because he didn't write oimek varuma. What do you mean? Va'afal pisha kosavlo ktani. It says even though he did write it, hachi kamar. Avol be shaloi kosavlo is kamisha kosav dami. Even if you didn't write anything, it's as if you writ lemikna umkavaruma to buy the depths of the house. And the fact that you left it out, you did it by accident. But bor dusu mechilas is more. Lemikna bor v'dusu mechilas ikosav like umkavaruma kani ve'ilo kosav lo kani. So that's the rules about the shtar. Toshma. We said in the Mishnah, you don't acquire the roof unless there's a makeh around the roof. Okay, we'll stop here. Very good.
Go ahead.